with me today, I have two great gentlemen, Mark Conzemius, who is the president of the Catholic Community Foundation for Eastern South Dakota, and Dan Goeller, who will be the music director and conductor for this year's Christmas at the Cathedral. From what I understand, he has been for about the past 10-ish years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So thank you for being here, guys.
Great to be here. Thanks for
I
having us.
wanted to have you come in because this is the 25th anniversary of Christmas at the Cathedral. This is kind of a big deal.
Well, it's kind of hard to believe. 25 years. That just means I'm old. Dan's only 10 with it, but it is really kind of humbling when you think about it.
Yeah.
And you just feel really blessed. How many people get to be a part of something that started as an idea and has grown to be something that across the region, at least for many people, it's a tradition for Christmas.
For sure. Okay, before we get into that, I want to have the two of you just tell a little bit about yourselves so people know who we're talking to. So, Mark, will you start?
Yeah, my daytime job is president of the Catholic Community Foundation, and for these 25 years, I've been the creator, director, producer of Christmas at the Cathedral, something that the foundation has produced all these years. But more importantly, I'm blessed to be the husband of Jeannie and the father of Paul, Annie, and Helen, and now grandfather.
Nice. Yeah. How long have you been in your position as president?
27 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I dragged my feet for 2 years before I finally gave in and said, okay,
fine.
Bishop Carlson at the time, we'll do a production in the cathedral.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad you did, and so is everybody else. So, Dan, how about you?
Well, I'm Dan Goeller. I'm executive director of Harmony, South Dakota, along with my wife, Heidi, and our 3 kids who are also involved. And basically composer and conductor and music producer. Went to Nashville after I graduated from college and worked there and met my wife working in the music industry in Nashville. And then we moved here when we started having kids and been here 15 years now. And so got to know Mark and had heard about Christmas at the Cathedral. And so just feel blessed to have the opportunity to be a part of it for over these last.
Yeah.
We started using Dan's music. So we had to come and see what we were doing with it.
So were you from here originally, Dan?
No, I'm not. I'm from the East Coast. My wife is from Worthington.
Okay, so that's how you ended up here.
Yeah.
I was like, how on earth did you end up here? I mean, people do move here for apparently no reason, but usually they grow up here. So, well, I'm glad you're here.
Thanks.
All right, so since this is the 25th year, Mark, what does it mean for you and the people who've worked on this for so many years to have made it to 25 years and it's still going and it's still, I mean, so well attended and received?
Well, we're so fortunate, I think, for us who've been a part of it in the inside, if you will, producing it 25 years means a lot. It gives us a reason. It's kind of like Thanksgiving. It gives you a reason to draw a line in the sand of the year and say, wow, Lord, you have really blessed us.
Yeah.
You know, we're so fortunate. I think for the audience, it's about that experience that year. They're, for a variety of reasons, you know, for some, you know, many are not Catholic who come to Christmas at the Cathedral. So we can tell when it's somebody's first time inside. They're walking in and they're looking all over and they go, wow, I've always wondered what it was like inside these doors. And others come every year because they're looking for that experience, that opportunity to really lean into, it sounds cliche-ish, but the true meaning of Christmas.
Yeah.
And so that's, for 25 years, has been so important to us. It's really reflecting upon the fact that our God loved us so much that he incarnated into the human experience, the human race, as a person, fully human, fully divine, but in the most obscure kind of frail way, as a baby, infant, homeless. Just all these amazing things when you think about it. And Christmas at the Cathedral gives you a 2-hour opportunity to kind of shut off all the noise, all your to-do list for Christmas, all the things that are coming at you, and you get to just soak in the reality that God loves you so much that he incarnates into the human race, but, you know, the reality that he does every day, all the time, every moment in our lives.
Right, right. I know I've heard you talk about this a few times. creating it, writing it every year. And when you say that, he incarnated as a baby, when you think about that, he could have come any way he wanted to. He could have just arrived here 32 years old and been like, all right, guys, we have to have a talk.
Yeah.
But he chose not to do that and came as he did so he could live like us. And we would have that example. And I think you obviously are so passionate about this program, this concert, and writing it and everything. It's really beautiful to see.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to think about Christmas during the 65 days of the year? That's what I get to do. It's really not a burden. I've had people say, "Oh my gosh, how can you come up with stuff and think about this?" And it's not a burden. And if the moment I start feeling burdened by it, that's a problem, because then it's about me, and it's never been about me. God always provides the inspiration. And really, I don't know how to write a concert. I'm an example of the fact that, God works through our weaknesses. He works through our humanity. And he gives you all the graces you need and all the people. He surrounds me with awesome people like Dan, who are so talented. It is so unusual to have somebody who not only can be music director, not only conduct, but also can arrange music for the orchestra, specifically for that orchestra, for that space, for that concert. And then he also can compose. So if we can't find a song that fits the theme and that moment in the concert, Dan goes, well, I'll just write something. I go, you will?
Like it's just
remarkable.
an everyday thing, right?
Yeah.
What has the experience been like for you, Dan, in working on this?
I mean, it's was the first and the longest running endeavor that I've been involved in Sioux Falls musically. So it's been a great blessing to our family. Just I started off being involved in it, and then working with my wife Heidi on composing some of these original songs and things that we've played, and then she's now concert master of the orchestra, so she works with me, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And now our oldest daughter is actually going to be playing the orchestra, so
that's great.
it's just kind of, we've seen our family grow up with it, and so it's been a great experience for us all around, and just become an annual tradition in our celebration of Christmas as well.
Yeah. So I assume in the program, when Dan composes a song, that's listed in there.
Correct.
Yes.
Yep.
So make
You
sure
got
this
Bach,
year.
Beethoven.
Yeah. So make
and
sure you're watching this
Goeller.
year when one's in there by Dan, and you can listen extra hard and say like, hey, that guy I just saw him.
Yeah, I know him.
What has the impact of this particular charity event been on the community and and the church?
Well, again, humbly, we would suggest that our experience, this will be 113 live concerts.
Oh, wow. So you do how many each year?
So it's six.
Six?
Now.
Okay.
It's grown up. We started with 2. Now it's 6. It's 5,000 people live in the cathedral. We can't fit any more because it's an active parish. So there's weekend masses and services and other things going on. So we pack in those 6. We've had 25 regional television broadcasts. It's traditionally continues to be the highest viewed program on broadcast television.
Wow.
In the region. It doubles the audience of the next highest. So it's really quite cool. And then 4 times it's been broadcast nationally. Once on NBC and 3 times on CBS across all of its affiliates. Yeah. So it's that's pretty cool. Just in terms of the number of people, I think though I would like to suggest what it's really done is it's brought the community together. We find a lot of reasons to separate and divide, and I'm this, you're that, whether it's philosophically, politically, whatever, all those things are that can divide, and religion too.
Right.
This is one time when across all religions, really, people can come in, experience the beauty, the art, and the architecture and the music when they all come together. And again, around this beautiful reality that you are loved unconditionally, and just to allow yourself to receive that.
Right.
We just find so many reasons even to maybe not feel we're worthy or up to whatever, and God could care less about that stuff. He just says, I love you. I created you. You're unrepeatable and absolutely unique and special.
Yeah.
And that's really what Christmas Cathedral is about. And so it's a time the community comes together. We have tremendous amount of sponsors and people from across all different types of industries. as well who support this. And so on a practical level, every year recently we've been able to put in $100,000 into the Bishop Dudley Hospitality House endowment for its ongoing care and maintenance for
That's huge.
the facility that's open every day of the year for the homeless, and another $100,000 to the endowment for the ongoing care and maintenance of the beacon of hope of the cathedral. 2 beacons of hope, really, in our community.
Yeah.
So it's you add that up over all the years. Certainly the first year didn't raise that much money with 2 concerts, but here's where we are today. And I think a lot of, the restoration of the cathedral, the appreciation of the cathedral as the communities, not just the Catholic Church's mother church, but it's really beacon of hope for the entire community. A lot of those things, I think, are the fruits of Christmas at the cathedral.
Yeah, for sure. So have you heard feedback from people over the years? Like either one of you get feedback from people telling you what they thought of the concert, what it's been for them?
Yeah, I mean, we do. I mean, I think that it's interesting. It's almost like a reunion in some ways. I mean, I see people that I only see once a year sometimes at Christmas at the cathedral, at the receptions and in the audience. And so I've actually, made friends and gotten to know some people from
really
being
cool.
involved in this. And certainly my biggest effort in working with the orchestra and the chorus that performs in this production every year is to really make it feel like it's a community effort, that they're each valued and that they can, it's one of their favorite opportunities to make music here in the community. So that's definitely something that deliberately try to cultivate that among the musicians and the people that are involved. And so I think that's why you see that. I think when audiences come, they experience something special in terms of the message and the story that we retell in a unique way every year. But also I think that they get a sense that this is something that really is a labor of the heart, for the people that are involved as well.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's definitely a good way to say it. It's a labor of love for everybody involved, for sure.
And there really aren't that many opportunities that you can go and again, what I would suggest is kind of the highest level of performance where you have this message and we don't worry about offending somebody by celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ because it's in the Catholic cathedral. People expect that, so they're not offended by it. Well, that's not my belief.
When they
right?
get
They're
there.
not surprised. So I think what we find is so many of the audience members are, wow, thank you. I needed that because it's really hard in our world today. I mentioned the to-do list, the busyness. There's some folks who kind of dread December because of I can't keep up with the expectations. It won't be the perfect Christmas for my family or whatever. And then in a particular way, we miss our loved ones. Both my parents now have moved on from this earthly life, and I have fond memories of them in the holidays. So it's I miss them a little bit more. Again, this is an opportunity to come and to be loved in the midst of whatever you're feeling at that moment. And that's what we hear from audience members. I feel like I can start Christmas now.
Oh, good.
I've been to Christmas Cathedral, and I look at it that way. 60% of we're getting close to 3,000 of the 5,000 tickets now have been sold. And we haven't even gone public. I mean, we're just going public with our tickets now.
Right.
So that kind of shows you, I think that's specific feedback as well.
Yep. Okay, can you tell us a little bit about this year's performance? What can people expect?
Well,
I mean, obviously it's about the birth of Jesus, but it's different every year.
Yeah, every year we like to find a unique perspective on the birth. And it's been so much fun. You just never run out of material. You'd think you would at some point.
Yeah, you would.
I mean,
we
look
did
at
that
the nativity.
already.
We did the shepherd. We did but there's always a unique perspective. And this year, the theme is called "Be Born in Me." It's from the first-person perspective of Mary's perspective of the birth and the incarnation. We have a fabulous actress because it's this is a challenge to pull this off, but we're doing it because of Apollonia Davalos, who's our actress. She's phenomenal talent.
And she's been here a few times now. How many?
Well, she's the first time in Christmas at the Cathedral.
Okay.
She is a professional actress. She does live here now. She had her professional training in New York.
Okay.
And then was in some professional theater across the Midwest, and ended up moving up here to South Dakota. And she's a member of the Cathedral, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
I think it's really beautiful that that's a connection. And Joe Obermueller, who's been our actor for several times, part of our creative team now. Joe, Dan, and I are kind of the core creative team. And he knows Apollonia quite well. So, yeah, we're excited about that.
Good.
There's some wonderful music, and there's a number called Be Born in Me, that it's Mary's kind of receiving. Who am I to be the mother of God, but let it be done to me according to your word. And that's so, be born in me, let my heart be your Bethlehem.
Right.
It's a wonderful message, and it's really the challenge for all of us, because the angel Gabriel appeared to Mary, but really that same message is for each of us, appearing to us and say, how are we going to respond? And
Right.
Mary gives us a great role model on how to respond.
Right.
Yeah.
When did you guys start working on this? Like, I know Mark starts in the summer. Dan, and we can talk about that in a second, but Dan, when do you, maybe he starts working right after this one's done.
Yeah, we actually talk every year in January and review the previous year's show. Talk about, just because we want to keep this thing going and just continue to invest in it as much as we can. So we talk about what we thought went well and what we want to work on, any ideas, because sometimes you get ideas when you're working on it.
Sure.
And so you don't just want to lose those. You
Right.
want to kind of put them away and unpack them later and figure out, what's the best material we have to work with and ideas that come up. And so, but usually by about late spring, we try to get together and try to get our concept and things going. And really as early as we can, we try to start because, we have to line up artists and
Yes.
all different kinds of schedules and things. And
Well, and
all
really
the-
already by spring, that's not a very much time to line people up, is it?
It isn't.
Really?
No, not for, the level of talent that we want to try to attract to our
Right.
production. So with everybody's schedules and everything going on, we always want to try to have a good concept in place by, I would say, April or May,
Yeah.
and then start, fleshing it out over the late spring, early summer, so that we can get started on the work.
I've heard that Mark goes up to his lake cabin and writes.
Yeah.
That's the rumor I've heard somewhere.
Yeah, nobody in my family wants to ride with me up to the lake because they get to listen to Christmas songs.
You're getting yourself in the mood?
Yeah. But it's really the deadline is pretty much by mid-July. We have to have a solid script. And the script is what drives the selection of the music, which really affirms the message that comes through through the script. So it's kind of like the exclamation point. The point is made, the reflection, and then you get to ponder it through the music.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like Lectio Divina, really picturing yourself in the scripture itself. It just brings it to life.
Right. How has the planning this, producing it changed in the 25 years you've been doing this? Because I imagine even in 10 years for you, Dan, it's probably changed a bit.
Well, I used to have a big brown box full of just papers and all this stuff. Anything Christmas I would
imagine.
grab and I would put in the box and I'd sift through it and I'd highlight. Like this year would have been anything with Mary, and you're looking through it. Well, now you get to Google it and say anything with Mary, and it's the digital. And then Dan can be hundreds of miles away, and he said, "Hey, Mark, here's a link to this song," and Joe will have ideas, and then we share documents, and everybody's adding their creativity to it. So that's streamlined it so much. I think it's opened up so many more possibilities for us.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, with the restoration, the cathedral is restored with this concert in mind and other concerts, because the church has always lifted up the beauty and the power of our art, architecture, and music together, and how it can lift the soul. And so I feel like it's been enhanced tremendously. And if somebody comes to experience it in person, the lighting as well that we add in with the art and architecture and the music, it's a pretty powerful experience.
Yeah. Dan, how has it changed for you?
I think we just found new ways to be creative. I think as you find things that work well, you keep striving to find new things, innovations, and things that we can do that continue to make the message as relevant and pertinent as we can every year.
Yeah.
So whether you've been there every year and you tell us like, wow, I thought last year was, the most inspiring, but this year, how did, it's like, I never thought of it that way. And so, and even it's interesting, I often hear from some of my friends that are priests here about, that was in my homily, or whatever. So I think we're really, doing a good job of finding some really interesting insights into these stories.
Yeah.
And I think that, like Mark said, the changes that have been made in the Cathedral are as functional as they are aesthetic as well. So just, the ability to really be able to hear well and to communicate effectively has been enhanced by the changes that have been made, in addition to all the beauty that's been brought out to the visual part of it as well.
Yeah. I think it's really important especially if you go every year or if you've gone before and you're like, oh, I've seen it before, I don't need, but it's different every year. So please go back again. We're almost out of time, but Mark, I want to make sure that we can tell people how to get tickets, when are the concerts, that very important information.
Concerts December 16th through the 19th. That's Thursday through Sunday. They're 7:30 p.m. on those 4 nights, and then 1 o'clock on Saturday, the 18th, and the Sunday the 19th at 2 p.m. Tickets are available online, ccfesd.org, ccfesd.org. You can call if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, 988-3765. Also at the local, Sioux Falls local Hy-Vee stores. You can go to the customer service and buy a ticket there too.
And I know a lot of parishes will put together a bus and send a bus
we've
down.
got, I think, 5 buses coming from across the area.
Yeah, so you might want to check with your parish if you're out of town to see if they have a bus, and you can join that group. So that's always fun. What a good way. I bet they probably are singing Christmas carols on the way down. Surely, right?
Absolutely. No, they have a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for being here, you guys. I hope everything goes well. I know Bill will be handling some of the video stuff, the streaming
television
stuff.
broadcast.
Yep. So that's always fun. I asked him if I could help with audio, and he said, "No, you have no idea what you're doing." That's basically what he said to me. So he's probably right for that. For that extent, it's much different than what happens at Sunday TV Mass. So much bigger deal. Thanks again for being here.
Great to be here, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah, thanks. All right. If you want to find this show on video, if you aren't watching it that way already, if you're only seeing on radio, you can go to YouTube and find us at SF Diocese anytime. That is it for us today. Hope you'll join us again next week for more Catholic Views.